Aside from Presley mania in the 1950s, it's safe to say there's never been a phenomenon quite like the Beatles. With the release of the record From Me to You on VJ Records in 1963, Beatlemania hit the U.S. like a rocket. American singers who till then had ruled the airwaves had to come to grips with these mop-tops from Liverpool. Neil Sedaka was one of those singers.
Well, Wink, that was a great shock to my ego, because from 59 till 63, there were about 25 million sales. There was a group of 10 records in a row. And in 63, the Beatles came in. Now, I had heard the Liverpool sound because I was touring through England. And I said, well, very cute, you know. Look at they have their concept of our Chuck Berry and Fats Domino. It's very cute. Never realizing that that would be the music of the 60s in America.
In February of 64, nearly 80 million people watched the Beatles make their TV debut on the Ed Sullivan Show, and things were never the same. I asked Dick Clark, how does one explain the Beatles phenomenon?
How does one explain the phenomenal success of Elvis Presley or the Beatles? I think you can put them in the same category. They are one of a kind. It happened to be that the Beatles were four of one of a kind. They have a magic ingredient. I call it the star quality, the mystique.
Young people's unprecedented response to the Beatles made adults really sit up and take notice. I've interviewed over 300 names in popular music, and almost without exception, whenever I ask the question of impact on them and the industry in terms of overall popularity, the Beatles were the name first and foremost given. When the Beatles first came west to Los Angeles in '64, included was a series of 3 concerts at the Hollywood Bowl. And those memorable nights were made possible by a man you may remember best as host of the Newlywed Game. When the Beatles hit, Bob Eubanks was not only a DJ in L.A., he also booked artists through his Concert Express. The first time he laid eyes on the Fab Four, he set out to contact their manager, Brian Epstein. And that set in motion a series of circumstances that forever connected Bob and the Beatles. When did you first become aware of the Beatles?
It was after they did the Ed Sullivan Show. And we were all at KRLA, and the phone started to ring, and things really started to happen. Naturally, they had the record earlier. I Want to Hold Your Hand was that the first one that really started to do a thing with us. And the phone started to ring at KRLA pretty heavily. And so I think that as soon as they did the Sullivan Show is when things really started to happen.
But in retrospect, you really had no idea, Bob, of just why kids and young adults first started to come out in record numbers to see the Beatles.
I think that a great deal had to do with physical appearance at first with them.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?